Hello, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 523 of Locked On Raptors for Wednesday, May 29th. I'm your host, Sean Woodley, RaptorsHQ.com. You can find me on Twitter, as always, at WoodleySean. Find the show at Locked On Raptors. We can find links to every episode. Of course, we got the Locked On Podcast Network, team-focused shows for all 30 NBA teams. Make sure you're subscribing, rating, reviewing.
It's the Roundball Rock Podcast, starring Dave Schilling, Tyler Hansbrough, Lucas Bebe Noguera, Joey Devine, Jakob Pertl, Matt Bonner, Coach B, Sean Keane, Jose Calderon, Jonas Valanciunas, featuring Sean Woodley from the Locked On Raptors podcast, Amir Johnson, Pascal Siakam, other special guest from the Feelings newsletter, Katie Heindel. Yes, those were the top 8 players in offensive rating in Toronto Raptors franchise history. Musical guest, Dan Fogelberg. And now the temporary host of Roundball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of Roundball Rock, here with my permanent co-host, Sean Keane. And this is a co-broadcast? I'm personally calling it Roundball Rocked On Raptors, which is kind of hard to say. So say hi, please, Sean Woodley and Katie Heindel.
Hi.
When we start the Rocked On network next summer, it's going to be fantastic. We're not going to cover every NBA team. We're just going to cover like
we're actually going to have
league.
We're going to have band specific podcasts. That's what
right.
the Rocked On Network is. You've got like a Beach Boys podcast, an Imagine Dragons podcast. Those are the two rock bands.
Every single day, 30 minutes about what's going on with Imagine Dragons that day.
There'll be one Canadian podcast covering the Bare Naked Ladies.
Well, Sloan has their own podcast for sure, right?
Fair enough, yeah. It's just a roaming. There's like 3 bands that I would cover as the lone Canadian hostess.
Well, let's hear all 3.
Well, Sloan, BNL, and like
Neil
Katie,
Young.
do you have thoughts? Nah, he's too.
No, I hate Neil Young.
Yeah. I guess like the Tragically Hip, even though they don't exist anymore.
Fair
really.
enough.
Yeah.
Probably
just like it's a history.
Rush.
Podcast.
Like Rush.
Mm-hmm.
What about like Wolf Parade?
Stars?
No, we don't talk about those bands anymore.
What about Stars?
No, we don't talk about Montreal bands of that era anymore.
What about just Bryan Adams?
Yeah, we
Still
always
doing it,
talk
right?
about Bryan Adams. Yeah, he's still doing it.
Doing things.
Hell yeah, I saw
think
Bryan
he-
Adams last summer. I got lawn seats. We played outside at the Molson Amphitheater. It was a sick show.
Of course he played outside.
Yeah.
He's legally only allowed to play outside now. If you write Summer of 69, you are no longer allowed to play indoors.
And you always have to play in the summer. It was the summer.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like that summer was going to last forever, I bet.
But unfortunately, nothing can last forever.
He's got his first real 6 streak.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who's hosting this? You're you, Joey. I don't really know who's directing.
I can host it. You know what? I can host it and then edit it real fast and send it to you with all the sound effects too, if you want.
Fine too. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
whatever.
let
We'll figure
Sean
it out.
do. Yeah. All right. So should we talk about some news first?
Yeah, baby.
Sure.
All right. Let's go to the news.
This is Roundball Rock News. Basketball news. For humans and robots. Trust the process.
All right, the Lakers did a bunch of bullshit again today. Sean Keen, would you like to run us through that?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say that there's a Baxter Holmes piece. Baxter Holmes, America's dandiest basketball correspondent, adorable bow tie, named Baxter Holmes. I mean, he grew up a close personal friend of Richie Rich, but he was more into the National Basketball Association. The main thing that came out in this Lakers article from Baxter Holmes was that Rob Pelinka made up a story about Kobe Bryant meeting Heath Ledger.
Yeah. After he was dead. We've covered this for about a year. Every time Rob Pelinka comes up.
He did it at one of the LA Lakers fake TED Talks that are called Genius Talks. They invited Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to talk to the team. He spent a lot of time slapping the wall at the practice facility. It was kind of scary.
Very prominent nipples from The Rock in that video.
Yeah, he's wearing... It seems like it is below freezing in that room.
And also, the shirt he's wearing is tighter than his skin, somehow. So my question for both Sean Woodley and Katie Heindel is, have you ever lied about meeting a dead person?
Oh, yeah, sorry. The actual... Do we need to reintroduce the story? We don't really need to, right?
We need to get through this as fast as possible because this is not a full Roundball Rock, so we cannot spend 40 minutes talking about Heath Ledger. So stop interrupting. Answer the question, Woodley and Heindel. Have you ever lied about meeting a dead person?
No.
Oh. Well, you can't be president of the Los Angeles Lakers then.
It's probably for the best for both of us.
That's
Who
what
would you be most likely to lie about having met, though, Katie? Can you think of a celebrity that you would
dead? Oh.
Well, have you ever lied about meeting a living celebrity?
No. 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 I'm very truthful about all the celebs that I've met.
All right,
who's the biggest celebrity you've met?
This Rob Pelinka thing is so dumb. This whole thing is so dumb. It makes thinking on your feet about putting yourself in a similar situation impossible. So no, I haven't done what Rob Pelinka did here because he's crazy.
One thing I do want to point out about this is I feel like being around known liar Kobe Bryant just rubs off on you. You know what I mean? Because look, Kobe's lied about a lot of things. Number one lie, in my opinion, number one Kobe Bryant lie is the summer when Kill Bill came out, he gave himself the nickname the Black Mamba and then did the speech verbatim from Kill Bill about how the Mamba strikes in 7 seconds and it's the deadliest snake in the world in an ESPN The Magazine profile. And they were like, oh yeah, where'd you learn all this? And he was like, oh, I was just reading about it. I've never heard of Kill Bill. Which is a fucking lie, Kobe Bryant.
Can I tell you what my favorite Kobe Bryant story is? Claiming he'd never heard of Michael Jordan when he was growing up.
Yeah, also great lie.
Because Michael Jordan, and he's like, look, I was growing up in Italy. How would you know that? And it was like, I don't know. Michael Jordan's many Nike-sponsored tours of Europe, the 1992 Olympics that also happened in Europe with the Dream Team. Your father, American professional basketball player, former NBA player. Like, it's like he's talking about a highlight star or something. And be like, yeah, we're in Italy, you know. Oh, who do you idolize? Mike D'Antoni. Like.
Also, before we move on from this segment, I just want to point out that I have indeed met Paul Walker, and it is not a lie. Okay,
that's true.
Oh,
and you hit it off too.
Yeah, love Paul Walker. All right.
I met Lars Ulrich from Metallica.
He's alive.
Not dead.
He's okay. Yeah, he's kicking.
Alive. Well, I'm telling the truth about a living celebrity. Look,
the only thing death involved between Lars Ulrich is he's the one who murdered Napster. Yeah.
I gave him a piece of my mind about that. I said, hey, you're stealing money from Sean Parker, the black sheep of Facebook. He had a Lord of the Rings themed wedding in a national park. How dare you?
All right.
What story, though? Did you guys find the weirdest thing was the fact that Rich Paul, or was it Rich Paul, or is it Rob? Who was it had to sit down with Adam Silver to say Tyronn Lue should be the coach of the Lakers?
November. Rich Paul said that. Yeah, he said, "Yeah, we got to get rid of Luke Walton first."
I mean, it's not the first failed coup Rich Paul and LeBron James have tried to do. If you remember right, there was a story, I believe Brian Windhorst hinted at it, like maybe a year and a half ago, that at one point LeBron and Rich Paul tried to get the owner of the Pistons and Dan Gilbert to just switch franchises. I swear to God, not making that up. Look, they are doing some shit over there. All right. Should we talk about the finals? That is why we're here, right?
Yeah, let's do it. There's no other news either. Nothing else has happened.
Giannis called some people buttheads, which is sort of news, but we can move on. That seems more like.
I missed that. I want to hear about that.
I'm sorry. That's a misleading headline. He actually said we didn't have no buttheads.
Yeah.
And he said I want to say the A word. He said he wanted to say the A word. He went for buttheads instead. And I just realized that butthead. I didn't really realize it was supposed to be the proxy for asshole.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Like, I lost a little innocence there.
Well, I'm sorry, Sean.
I felt bad for Giannis after the conference finals, man. He's such a sweet boy. And to see him go down was, it almost felt a little, like, gross to see the Raptors just, like, snatch his soul. So
don't do this, Sean. Don't patronize Giannis.
Fine. Yeah, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Look, take it from someone who also doesn't know how to root for a winner. This is not how you do it.
But look,
that's the reason we're here. That's most of the reason we're here. So you guys can tell us what the finals are like, and to like teach you how to do it properly. I think.
Well, then let's move on to talk about the playoffs.
It's the NBA playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Basketball for humans.
We're going to be championship.
Data for robots.
Both teams played hard, my man.
Both teams played hard.
All right, Sean, Woodley, Katie Heindel. The reason you're on is because you are Raptors fans. And the reason we're here is because we are Warriors fans. But I want to make it very clear to your Canadian listeners about something. Sean and I are the good kind of Warriors fans, which means I actually hate the Warriors more than you do. Trust me on this one.
My first question I was going to ask you, Joey, is do you actually want the Raptors to win this finals?
I do not.
Okay.
Because here's why. Okay, I have to run through real quick to our Canadian listeners. I want Kevin Durant to leave the Warriors really, really badly. And I think if they lost the finals and he didn't play, he's a lot more likely to come back than if they win the finals and he doesn't play. Does that make sense?
So you think a title will make him want to come back and prove himself, while a loss would drive him into James Dolan's arms?
Exactly. No, you have that backwards.
I think if they win, I'm sorry. The win will make him leave because he'll be like, my work is done here.
No, because everyone will be like, they don't even need him. Look, Steph Curry's the best. Blah 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 blah. Where if they lose and he's hurt the whole time, it's like, yeah, they do need Kevin Durant. You know, because Kevin Durant's whole thing is like watching cold pizza and getting furious while like DMing 12-year-olds. And so whatever's going to make him most likely to leave based on Stephen A. Smith narratives is what I'm rooting for.
One thing I would say is it is refreshing that Kevin Durant is one NBA player who is DMing teenagers in actually a fairly wholesome way. And so I do think he deserves some credit for that in the Chandler Parsons era. Like he's just arguing with them about teamwork. That's not that bad. I just want the Warriors to win. I don't really want KD to leave necessarily.
Sean is much more of a pure Warriors fan than I am, I would say.
I want him to win.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy the weirdness of Kevin Durant, I think.
But why do you want them to win? They've already won.
That's a good point. I think I just want my guys to be happy. I feel like they'll be sad if they lose.
Because championships have made Kevin Durant so happy these last few seasons.
I mean, my guy is what I'm saying. Like I want to see Clay smiling and celebrating. You know.
Will the rest of the Warriors be happier if they win? If KD say that they win, KD leaves or stays? Will they be happier if he stays, or like what do they want? What's the preferred Kevin Durant action among the rest of the Warriors?
I think there's a split there actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think Steph Curry very badly wants Kevin Durant to stay because Steph Curry's whole thing is like I believe Ethan Sherwood Strauss once said, the only NBA player I've ever met who actually cares about winning above everything is Stephen Curry. I think
he's the guy that is most legitimately concerned about his legacy and not a weird hologram of his legacy like Kevin Durant is.
And I think Stephen Curry sees himself as a Tim Duncan type versus a other kind, like a Dirk Tim Duncan mold of superstar, right? Where it's like, I just want to win and be a good guy. Where I sort of think Draymond and Clay are pretty sick of Kevin Durant's shit.
I do think Clay is also I think Draymond is a little more resentful, and I don't know if Clay has that attitude or not.
I was gonna say, how can you tell? You could tell with Draymond, but how can you gauge that from Clay?
Because I watched the 60 Minutes interview where they all looked shocked when Kevin Durant started to yell at that reporter. It's like a team. It's like
Did Clay look the most shocked?
Clay looked like, you know how when you see a group of boys in a principal's office and one is just staring into the corner hoping no one talks to him? That is what Clay looked like. Clay looked like
he looks like that a lot of the time.
I know. Trust me, I understand this. But there's a very marked difference in his body language when Durant starts yelling at the reporter.
I still think KD wants Durant to stay though. He wants titles.
My question for you guys, Raptors fans.
Yeah.
Is, first off, how did you celebrate your Game 6 win?
Katie, you go ahead.
Okay, what did I do? I walked home. It was like a crazy, I don't know if you've read this in any... No, you're not reading Raptors recaps. What am I talking about? It was like a crazy, foggy night in the city. And as soon as I left the bar where I was watching it, and started walking home, you could just hear fireworks everywhere, car horns going everywhere, but it was coming out of the mist. And then it was very surreal. And I was in a quieter part of town. But I was also very boring. Dylan and my husband and I walked home, and then we let our dogs out, and then we're like, hey, let's pop a bottle. We have one in the fridge. And then we popped a bottle of sparkling wine in the intersection near our house. And then we just drank it. We drank half of it, walked around, and then we're like, let's go watch highlights. And then fell asleep.
Woodley, what about you?
Yeah, I was covering the game, and then
Woodley was in the before. I will say, Woodley, one of the places he went straight to was the Roundball Rock Discord chat, which is always popping off. And you can join that for just $3 a month at patreon.com/roundballrock. All right, keep
Round
going,
Rock
Woodley.
Pod, I think.
Round Rock Pod, sorry.
Yeah. So I was at the game covering it, and after it wrapped, you do all the post-game like press conferences and stuff. If you look carefully in the background when Malika Andrews is asking the question that prompts Giannis to walk out, you can see me in the back, David Sterning a bottle of water.
Chugging water. You're chugging water. Just row.
Were you chugging that much water because you knew you were about to drink an entire pitcher of beer without a mug?
I didn't know that, but that's what happened. Yeah, I did a podcast by myself, just like yelling into the void in the arena. That was weird because no one wanted to do it with me because they were all working and it was super late because it was a late start. So I finished that at like 1, and then I showed up at a bar like, I don't know, like a 5-minute walk from the arena to meet a couple people. And my dad had given my cousin $25. So my parents came downtown.
Nice.
An hour outside of downtown. They took a train. They don't do anything. Like, they don't go to bars. They don't have friends. They just sit in their backyard. And they haven't been to a bar in like 20 years. But they wanted to be like downtown to watch the game, even though they only started liking basketball like 3 months ago. And so they were watching with my cousin at a bar, and like they were eventually sort of meandering from the bar to the square where they ended up watching the end of the game. I was super thrilled about that. And then my dad gave my cousin $25 to go buy me a drink whenever he met up with me. So I bought a pitcher and drank it without a glass. And then I went home, ordered some A&W, and that was the night. It was I spent the night at my cousin's. It was pretty great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It really, really owned.
Part of me did want to go out and into the streets. Like, you were watching, that was also fun to like watch all the videos of people as it was happening. But everyone did was like climb onto the tallest thing they could and dance.
Mm-hmm.
I did have. I don't know if you guys heard. There was like a lot of dumb pride. I guess justified pride, I suppose, among like Toronto people yesterday when it came out that there were 0 arrests as a result of everyone partying downtown, which is kind of remarkable.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But a friend of mine who was at the bar with, he was saying that on his walk to the bar, he saw like a couple of guys trying to climb onto a street light, and like a bunch of people pulling him down, being like, "No, don't do that. That's irresponsible." That was probably the most Canadian shit.
Well, is that typical for a Canadian celebration?
Yeah, I feel like it is.
You're in Vancouver.
Oh yeah, where they torch everything when they win.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they destroyed
that was
city
after a loss, right?
Yeah, they lost Game 7 of the Cup final and then burned their city to the ground.
And people just do it in the middle of the street while that's happening.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that disgusting photo.
Disgusting or beautiful, Katie? Come on.
Pretty disgusting.
That's why they can't have another NBA team there. It's the public lewdness.
Okay.
Adam Silver probably doesn't like that.
They were on the right track trying to burn that city down.
All right, Woodley, do you have more questions?
Yeah. Did I have a question? Oh, yeah.
How did you guys celebrate the Raptors win?
I was working.
I was also working, but my boss, who had bet on Milwaukee, was a little disappointed, but he really likes Kawhi. And then my other boss was bummed because he's a big Clippers fan. Uh-huh. And he was like, "Oh, now Kawhi's not going to come."
Oh, I do want to say that I think the biggest winner of that series is my dad, who bet his American friend who lives in Chicago a deep dish pizza and 2 tickets to Jerry Springer, or he would give them to my dad if the Raptors won, and they won.
Is he the mayor of Toronto?
Yeah, this is like a mayor's bet.
No, it's just a bet between two retired disc jockeys.
So it's your
okay, DJ's actually, that does make sense. This is also a disc jockey bet. Yeah, okay.
So
now I understand.
So are your mom and dad going to take a trip to Chicago to go see Jerry Springer?
My dad might. I don't think my mom's going to join him.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a +1 available.
Yeah, I'll let him know if you're interested.
Okay.
Were you guys disappointed that the Bucks lost, or did it matter who they played? Did you have a rooting interest either way?
Well, so I like both those teams a lot. Like I generally had been rooting for the Raptors in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But at first, I just wanted it not to be a sweep, just because I was like, oh, these Bucks are going to be so rested. And then I got really on board the Raptors during the double OT game just because it was so crazy and tense. And I was just, it was like Kawhi playing so well really drew me in. And then Danny Green and Fred VanVleet playing so badly also drew me in. And so when VanVleet started making shots, I was just like, I believed in you the whole time. I felt terrible when you kept missing. So I think by the end, I was just outright rooting for Toronto without any strategy behind it.
Yeah, I like both these teams a lot, the Bucks and the Raptors. I will say I was actually rooting for the Raptors to win just because I thought that without Durant, I'm more sure that if the Warriors are going to play Boogie Cousins, he's more playable against Marc Gasol than any of the weird Bucks centers, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And even if you have an injured, like you need Kevin Durant, even if he's hobbled a little bit, just because of how big the Bucks are.
Yeah.
And the Raptors have a lot of smaller, more adorable players. Yeah. Even Serge Ibaka is way too handsome to be a devastating power forward. You know what I mean? You need that Karl Malone, Charles Oakley mug. Can't have cheekbones like that, you know?
I will say, of all the Warriors finals opponents, this is the one I have the worst read on. Because each of the Cavs team, I was very sure whether they were going to win or lose going into those series. And this one, I have no idea what's going to happen.
But I mean, you thought the Warriors were going to win all 4 of those, right?
No, going into Game 7, I was pretty sure the Warriors were going to lose in 2015.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, when the series started.
Yes. Yeah. But I knew how they'd beat the Cavs, too. Do you know what I mean? I'm not entirely sure which way either team is going to play in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I think that, the weird zone defense the Raptors have been playing isn't going to work against the Warriors.
Joey,
don't make a Scout with Brian
I'm
joke.
A former scouting coordinator. I will punch you in the face. Say it was a zone.
I don't think that's going to work against the Warriors, but also I think if you put Kawhi Leonard on Draymond Green, the Warriors are going to turn the ball over 40 times a game, which a lot of people are saying that they should put Kawhi on Curry, and that is incorrect. The way you actually stop the Warriors when they're in this version of themselves is you put your best defender on Draymond Green, because then you just switch the screen when he sets it for Curry, and also Curry will throw the ball around a lot. And that terrifies me.
Keys to the game right there. I think we got the series.
Okay.
I hope Nick Nurse is listening.
I hope your coach who dances like the dancing man from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones is listening to this right
now. Guys, Nick Nurse is so much cooler than Bud, right? Have you come around on Nick Nurse being cool?
No.
Oh, well
hell
like,
no. Oh, God, no.
He's not cool.
Sean,
he's not cool.
Okay, he's cooler than Bud. He's more likable than Bud.
I mean, look, Bud went to, like, Atlanta rap concerts with those Hawks, though. I'm pretty into that. And look, anyone who has who wears their own branded merch, I'm kind of out on generally, especially if they look like
nice.
Nick Nurse.
You're gonna hate the entire Raptors team then.
Well, we looked into it on a previous episode, and once I knew that I didn't realize there were the extent of the personal branded merch that the Raptors players had, and once I knew that, I was like, oh, Nick Nurse is trying to be part of the team.
But look,
it would be great if there was not a culture of weird handmade personal brands. It would be like a psycho move. And now it's like an awkward dad using slang incorrectly.
But look, there are things you should know that you should leave alone, and having a Nick Nurse brand is one of them, if you're Nick Nurse.
I'm just saying the bench really responded to the NN brand.
Dave McMenamin asked him about it in a press conference, and like it was kind of in like the middle of one of the more intense, like it was before like game 6 or something like that, or game 7 maybe, and he asked him to like break the tension about his hat. I think it was before game 7. He's like, what's the deal with the hat, dude? And I can't remember. It was a boring answer. The Nike was like, "Hey, want one?" He's like, "Yeah." I don't know why.
So you can't even buy them.
That's even worse.
Someone is selling bootleg versions on Etsy.
Okay, now here's the thing. If you're a Raptors fan, a bootleg Nick Nurse hat is cool. An actual Nick Nurse hat is not cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Capital letters.
But if you look at that conference finals, Nick Nurse inspired these guys because who stepped up? Understand the Grind, Norman Powell. Bet on Yourself, Fred VanVleet. Like all these number 7 brand, Kyle Lowry. All these guys were really playing well, and it was because they were like, our coach understands us.
All right,
I have another question for you guys.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if the Raptors win this series, does that in fact prove that the Spurs would have won the 2017 conference finals had Kawhi stayed healthy?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes, it definitely does. In fact, I'm hoping that the Warriors can get an injury exception for Kevin Durant and sign Zaza Pachulia. It's the only way to stop
we were
Leonard.
saying that it is not out of the realm of possibilities that Andrew Bogut will get into Kawhi Leonard's landing space at some point in this series.
I forgot Andrew Bogut's on this team.
Yet, I guess he's still legally allowed to come to Canada, right?
Well, not unless he's busy investigating Comet Pizza, or he might be on a 9-gag for him. So who knows if he's coming to the finals?
Okay, you guys, do you think that Drake is going to continue to physically harass Nick Nurse in his workplace?
Before you ask this question, Sean, I actually want to ask a more general Drake question. Are you guys into this Drake thing as Raptor fans?
Into what he's doing?
Like, yeah, his like antics. Are you guys like? Do Raptors fans like see Drake like running on the court during plays and being like, yeah, that's our guy, represent us? Or are you like, shut up,
I will
Drake?
say that, yeah. Well, I will say, I think the thing that people miss is that Drake is inherently very corny in like everything he does.
Yes.
So I think like looking at it as a lens from like someone from Toronto who sees him do this kind of stuff regularly, at first I would have not been into it, but I've really almost come full circle, and I'm extremely into what he's doing, if only because of how mad it's making everybody, and because like, he's corny, but he's also incredibly earnest. Like, I don't know that he knows that he's corny or if he's like fully embracing it. Like I can't really tell what phase he's in right now, but I'm here for it. And I really think if you're going to psychologically manipulate the other team that way so easily, I'm here for it. Do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
I'm
Coach.
mostly cool with it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I'm mostly cool with it because, like, it's pretty harmless. It was a little weird when it seemed like he was maybe harassing Mallory Edens, but it seems like she was kind of part of the bit, so maybe that's not so bad. But, like, he got into Bud's head in the middle of the conference finals just by being there and being loud. And that is kind of funny. And
yeah.
That shouldn't happen if you're a professional head coach. And but it did. And I don't know. I'm always going to be thankful to Drake for back in Game 5 against the Pacers in the first round in 2016, also forcing a turnover by clapping at Stucky's ear. So I'm always going to be partial to the Drake stuff because it benefits the Raptors typically. He's corny, but like he's mostly pretty harmless.
I think the Coach Bud getting mad made me like it more, especially because I like to think that because Coach Bud goes to hip hop shows with his players, that his objections were actually like about ghostwriters and just like, you didn't give Pusha T enough answers in your response.
Yeah. He's like, you abandoned your child.
And he's like, oh, come on. That last mixtape was pretty lazy, right?
What's going to be the celebrity beef? Because Milwaukee has no famous people. So it had to be Mallory Edens against Drake. What's going to be the celebrity beef between Drake and whoever?
I mean, it has to be Guy Fieri, who is our obnoxious celebrity.
Yeah.
We said on our episode a couple of days ago that we want Guy Fieri to bring Pusha T to a finals game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It would be if Guy Fieri started beefing with Drake, it would be the funniest thing on earth. But what it's really going to be is it's going to be Drake versus Draymond. Like, Draymond is going to say something incredibly hurtful to Drake at some point in these finals, and I don't know if Drake is ready for it.
Isn't it Smash Mouth already, though?
Smash Mouth, we don't
afford tickets.
We don't claim
the thing.
The Bay Area doesn't claim Smash Mouth. That guy is like a real.
I see.
He really goes off on.
He went rogue with that beef.
Yeah.
He also like I don't think people are ever like Guy Fieri gets free tickets to the game. Whereas
what's Guy Fieri like doing at the game? Does he actually interrupt things, or does he just like incredibly enthusiastic?
He just hilarious.
Yeah,
he just has platinum hair.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's like sending the team a bunch of donkey sauce and stuff from Johnny Garlic's for the post game spread. You know,
but
yeah, he's not. He conducts himself pretty well.
What was that?
Oh, I just said he conducts himself fine.
Similarly,
he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
it would be really funny if Guy Fieri started massaging Steve Kerr's shoulders on the sidelines. Though I wish he would do it in one game.
Like it's a pork shoulder.
Yeah.
He like feeds him a pulled pork slider.
Right? Eating the slider.
All right, my next question for you guys is which departed Toronto Raptor do you most wish was a part of this run? This magical Team of Destiny run.
Literally have this question that I was going to throw to you guys for the Warriors.
Okay.
Katie, do you want to go first?
Amir.
Oh, yeah, Amir would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like his current role, just like end of bench cheerleader guy who checks his phone sometimes. Yeah.
Supportive. Super supportive.
I did find myself a little sad that Jonas wasn't there for Game 6 when they clinched.
I'll be honest, I unfortunately just forgot all about JV.
Mack would have been cool too, minus the $17 million he makes. But he was sitting. I don't know if you guys saw. He was sitting.
He was there
with the Superman. Yeah. On Game 6 for Game 6, and that was really cool. I think there was a picture of him being interviewed and holding Carter Lowry after the game, Kyle's kid, which is really sweet and fun. But yeah, I mean, my answer is the easy one is Terrence Ross, but also I guess the trade brought in Serge Ibaka, and he brought us How Hungry Are You? That brought us a while under eating cow dicks. So.
Yeah. A truly amazing episode of How Hungry Are You? A show where every episode is really good.
Yeah. What about you guys, Warriors wise?
I mean,
they've brought so many people back.
Yeah, the funny answer is Harrison Barnes.
Right. They could use him right now. He would honestly, like, especially if Durant leaves. I was looking at Harrison Barnes' stats, like super reliable 3-point shooter now. Really guards fours. I'm like, maybe he could come back if Durant leaves.
The other funny answer is, of course, Patrick McCaw.
I'm trying to think of a guy that was not part of one of the winning teams already.
Right.
For me, the real answer is Jason Richardson, actually.
Right.
It's so long ago, but...
It's the guy that you want...
He was like a real Warriors warrior when they lost. Like, he was a guy who would, like, pay out of his own money to put an ad in the paper saying the Warriors would try harder next year and he's sorry for not making the playoffs, that kind of thing.
I'd like to see Kent Bazemore, because I think he could really help Jordan Bell and Quinn Cook develop their 11th and 12th man celebrations really well.
Except they don't have time to develop those because Steve Kerr is playing them.
He's playing all of them.
Yeah.
They're all going to play.
Be prepared, Raptors fans. Steve Kerr is going to play guys you've never heard of in this series, and everyone's going to be like, why? And Warriors fans are going to be like, why?
Joey, the reason is strength in numbers, obviously.
So are we going to see an Alfonso McKinney?
Yep. Oh, Alfonso McKinney is going to start games.
Yeah, he might start game one. He probably will start game
I think
one.
He is. He's going to start games. Just be ready. Be prepared. He's going to play Damian Jones, and it is going to win the Raptors a game.
just with him falling down as Marc Gasol does. I could see Marc Gasol doing like Harlem Globetrotters tricks to Damian Jones, where somehow Gasol has hit a three and Jones's shorts are at his ankles.
And somehow he's dumping a bucket of confetti on himself at the same time.
Why? And Kerr just kind of shakes his head he just really didn't make the right rotation there.
Refusing to call timeout.
Why was it a bad idea to start a guy in a playoff game when he'd played 3 minutes in 6 months? Kerr's gonna keep doing that, guys. So get excited for your first look at disappointing late first round pick Jacob Evans. He's gonna play. He's gonna play.
Did Chris Jay play for the Warriors at all last year?
He did not. He might have gotten in the last game. He was on their 2-way contract and he was in the D League the whole year.
He won the G League MVP for the Raptors this year. I would like to see him play because he's fun as hell and only shoots threes whenever the ball touches his hands.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get Chris Boucher revenge series.
Alfonso
McKinney. You guys like McKinney? Is he good?
I do really like him.
He definitely was more helpful than McCaw would have been in the best case scenario, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that McCaw is on the Raptors and McKinney's not now.
I know. It's like a crazy trade.
It's like a Freaky Friday situation.
But also they just went alphabetically and they're like, McCall, McKinney, hey, what about this?
I have a game for you guys.
Oh, great. We love games.
Yeah.
Okay. There's this game I sometimes play on the podcast called That Random Raptors Game. and I decided to pull a game. It's pretty simple. I pick a game, and the guest has to guess who played for the Raptors in that game.
Yeah.
But we can all play this game because I picked a Warriors game.
Okay.
2008, and you guys got to guess. You get 3 strikes. If you don't lose or win anything, but
are we doing both teams or just Raptors?
We can do both. Yeah, we can start with the Warriors and then do the Raptors game if you want.
Okay.
So this game took place. What was it? December 29th, 2008. So 10 seasons before this one.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors lost to the Warriors 117-111 to move to 12-19, while the Warriors moved to 10-23.
Mm-hmm.
It was good times had by all. 8 Warriors played in this game. It was when did I say it was? December 29th.
Okay, so it's the 2009, 2008, 2009. Not yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay. So there's 8 guys. Let's go back. You guys can compete against each other if you want.
I think we work as a team and we just name.
Yeah,
them.
we'll work as a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's 2008, 2009. So Monte Ellis.
No, he didn't play in this game.
Oh, he must have been hurt.
Was Steven Jackson playing in this game?
Yeah, Steven Jackson had 30 points.
Did Baron Davis play in this game?
He's not on the team anymore.
Oh shit! It's 2008. Wow, I've struck out twice already. Okay.
Wait, did we say Corey Maggette?
We did not yet.
Corey Maggette.
Nope, he didn't play in this game. I think
Corey
it's next
Maggette?
season he's on the
Wow.
team now.
Wow.
Wait, so we missed 3 of the first 4 guesses.
Anthony Tolliver.
Keep going. No Anthony Tolliver either.
This is Anthony Randolph's rookie year, but I bet he didn't play.
I bet he played.
Andres Biedrins.
Yeah, he had 13 points and 15 rebounds in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And 5 blocks. Was he good? I don't
Andres Biedrins? Yes.
Being bad in NBA Live.
Yeah, he was good.
Okay.
This was the year he was really good, in fact. But what ends up happening to Andres Biedrins, is it's weirdly sad. He was so bad at free throws, and he kept getting worse and worse, and also had a drinking problem that he then became afraid of the ball. So because he's the worst free throw shooter in the history of the NBA.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's too sad.
Yeah, but he was really good his first 3 years in the league.
Did Brandon Wright play in this game?
He did. He started and played 7 minutes.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a Don Nelson special. One of my starters played 7 minutes, and I played 8 guys total in a regular season game 4 days after Christmas.
Okay, did Marco?
I did forget to say Steven Jackson played all 48 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
A regular season game.
Okay, Monte is hurt. So did Marco Bellinelli play in this game?
He sure as hell played. He played 38 minutes and had 23 points on 6 of 12 shooting.
Those motherfuckers traded him to you guys for Devin George the next year, and I'm never going to forgive them.
And then they traded Bellinelli for Julian Wright. And that's where that trade tree died.
Okay, here's a weird name. Did DeMarcus Nelson play in this game?
He did not play in this game. He played in the earlier game in this season, the Warriors and Raptors. It was like the second game of the year. I almost pulled that box score.
Do you want to know a funny thing about DeMarcus Nelson?
I would like to know anything about DeMarcus Nelson.
He's the first undrafted rookie to ever start an opening day game for a team, and it was Don Nelson thought he was being really, really smart and weird, and they cut him like 3 weeks later.
Yeah. I think he'd been cut already at this point. Is Kalena Azubuike on the team?
Yeah, he came off the bench. He had 18 points on 8 of 10 shooting. I loved that dude.
He ruled.
Yeah, he ruled. Yeah. He just blew out his knee dunking.
Yeah, on Chris Kaman. One of the most righteous, morally right dunks you can do is dunking on Chris Kaman.
Best way to end a career, I think.
Is Al Harrington still on the team?
Who?
Al Harrington?
No, he's not on the team.
Oh my god.
It's Jamal Crawford on the team then.
Yeah. He started like 36 minutes.
Isn't it crazy that all these guys were on the Warriors? Like,
yeah.
It took him a year and a half after that We Believe team to have one or two of those guys remaining and just be like adrift.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford played 36 minutes and was 2 of 11.
How many people are we missing now?
Just 2 bench guys.
Okay, did Rob Kurz play in this game?
Nope.
Okay. Rob Kurz is next
year.
Your
guesses have been truly Marcus Nelson and Rob Kurz. It's incredible. Do they have... Oh, no, that's later, I think. Did they have Ronnie Turioff?
They did. He played 18 minutes. He had 2 points and 4 assists.
4 assists? That might be a career high.
Sean, is this the year the Warriors really try and get Ronnie Turioff in the Defensive Player of the Year voting, or is that the next year?
I think there's only 1 year when it was possible. So there's one more player.
A bench guard played 35 minutes, so I guess he's like the 6th man on this team.
Huh. In the Jamal Crawford year, and he's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
He played on some of those very good Indiana teams that went to.
Is it C.J. Watson?
Yeah, it is C.J. Watson. Of course, it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Floyd Mayweather's enemy.
Yeah, enemy of Floyd Mayweather, which means he's a positive for Joey.
Yeah, that's a positive. That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's that Warriors team. They've now been to 5 straight finals.
Yeah. And there was like no lead up to it. They made the playoffs one year, and then they lost in the first round the next year. And then they were the greatest team in basketball history. I honestly sometimes think that maybe I died. Like I got hit by a bus at some point in 2015, and then this is just weirdly heaven or hell. Maybe the Kevin Durant thing, because the Kevin Durant thing feels a little bit like a monkey's paw situation,
right? Well, that was the other thing I felt in 2016. It wasn't like the final, losing the finals really sucked, but then they got Durant. But after the presidential election, I was like, this is kind of my fault because good things started happening to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like the karmic scales would have been balanced with a humiliating, super disappointing finals loss, but then they got Kevin Durant, and it's like, well, looks like California is not going to get any federal money anymore. President's just going to let the state catch on fire now.
Is Katie still here?
What was that?
Katie? Is Katie still here?
Katie?
Did you lose Katie?
Oh, no. I thought you were saying KD.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Oh.
But I did leave for a minute to charge my phone while you were walking down that memory.
What were we talking about? Rob Kurz?
Yeah, I didn't need to. I didn't need to do that with you, but you made it. You made it through.
Okay, I have two questions for you guys. First off, Steph Curry scores more points per game against Toronto than any other opponent. Does that worry both of you?
No.
Good.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a given. That's just something that's going to happen. I feel like I've accepted it, and we need to figure out other ways to win.
Also, I'm looking it up right now, but I think Kyle Lowry also scores like a lot against the Warriors too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've had some awesome games, the two of them just like going at each other. So that gives me a little hope. There was that game, like, what was it, during the run where they were undefeated?
Yeah.
And, like, Kyle had 41 and Steph had 43 in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool as hell.
Yeah, it was cool.
And what's Steph's answer for Kevin Larry?
That's true.
He doesn't have one.
You know what they're going to have to...
That's how we stop Steph Curry. It's Kevin Larry.
Yeah.
All right. And my second question for you guys is, do you think Canada's unstoppable politeness is going to throw Draymond Green off his game?
In what way? Like when he gets here?
Just in general.
Like, is he not going to be able to keep the fire up?
He feeds so much on haters.
He can't go sicko mode. Yeah, he can't go sicko mode.
And he's
because everyone's going to be like, sorry. Oh, sorry, I bumped into you. Oh, let me get that door for you. Oh, sorry.
He's going to be like yelling into the huddle like, these guys don't respect us. And then the crowd as one is going to be like, no, we respect you a lot.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for updating your passport for us.
This whole series very much, like, Jacob Greenberg called it, like, way back, like, a year ago. When he put the tweet out about how, like, the Warriors fans are going to be like, yeah, fuck the Raptors, like, you guys are going down, and Raptors fans would be like, yeah, we're just glad to be here. Very, very happy to sharing the stage with you. That's very much the vibe.
That's exactly it. That is the vibe. That's 100%
nothing can hurt us. Yeah. I think, like, too, the Raptors themselves are, like, really nice. Like, Joel Embiid, like, usually just, like, has the series at the palm of his hand, and, like, it's all, like, tweety and you know Joel Embiid, you know his work, but against the Raptors, he was just, like, chill, and then, like, got consoled by Marc Gasol at the end. It was
he had he had a tummy ache and a hug.
Maybe the Warriors do need Kevin Durant back just so they can hate somebody.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just going to be like a bunch of guys respecting them, Serge Ibaka smiling politely. I mean, Bogut's
show.
Yeah.
Speaking to them in their mother tongue.
Right. I mean, Andrew Bogut is an interesting addition to the series because he is both an immigrant and a xenophobe. So that's like a nice combination.
And an evil Australian, which I feel like always give the Raptors a real run for their money. And me watching.
Well, he's got to avenge Ben Simmons, right?
The other thing I really want Raptors fans to realize while watching is they're going to see some Jonas Jerebko minutes, and that is going to be a throwback to the Brian Colangelo Raptors teams in not a good way. Just a European who is not athletic or big, throwing up weird shots that aren't working.
Sometimes that's Marc Gasol, but he's big.
Yeah.
Sounds like cheap Linus Clazen.
Yeah, that is exactly what he is.
Yup. Like a little more jacked, a little worse at shooting threes.
One thing that's funny about this series, so I don't know if you guys know this, but like the broadcast rights in Canada are weird, and like we don't get national games really unless they're on ABC. And the conference finals, like the Raptors are the only team that can do their own local broadcast for it. So that still is what aired up here. So they're getting up here in Canada for the first time for an entire series.
Oh, the Mark Jackson experience?
Yeah. Maybe for the listeners from the Raptors side of things, please detail how much that sucked over the course of a series.
This is a Sean question. Sean, you are correctly. Sean hates Mark Jackson more than maybe anyone. Keen, do you want to walk us through Mark Jackson?
Yeah. Well, so technically I hate Jeff Van Gundy more. But Mark Jackson
hates Jeff Van Gundy more too, I think.
I mean, because Mark Jackson at least is happy to be there, where Jeff Van Gundy in the last couple of years, it's like he's announcing these games with a gun to his head, just constantly talking about like anything but the game. There was some point when in a close game in the game 4 of the conference finals, and Jeff Van Gundy was just talking about Rick Barry and other players from the 70s, not for any point of comparison, just that it was like, well, the Warriors are playing. Time for me to talk about Rick Barry, a guy no one has affection for, except other cranky old white guys.
How many games will it be until Jeff Van Gundy complains about customs?
Oh my! Game 1. That's going to happen immediately. So yeah, with the ABC broadcast, you have a guy doing that, and then you have Mark Jackson, who has who coached the Warriors and then was fired, and the Warriors immediately became this. So he also weirdly says things like, one time he said that you have to respect. Oh, you cannot celebrate the butterfly and also denigrate the caterpillar while talking about the Warriors being really good.
Yeah.
That's incredibly poetic.
They should get Wayne Casey on the broadcast.
Yes, they absolutely should.
It's the other thing that I accidentally discovered while watching a replay was that they are doing this thing at ESPN/ABC that's called NBA Courtside.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you guys won't see this.
You probably are not allowed to see that, but it is a collection of many second-tier NBA personalities on ABC. Your Brian Windhorst, Rachel Nichols. You'll
Mark
see Chauncey
Spears.
Billups. Yeah, Mark Spears. All sitting in like courtside style seats, and it's in front of the game like Mystery Science Theater 3000
you can see their
style.
Faces. Yeah.
You can see their face. Oh, yeah. They're facing you. They're not facing out. And also, it's shot at an awkwardly low angle, so you like see Brian Windhorst's knees, which is it's like very weird decision for sportscasters. But it's like some director's like, no, you should feel like you're sitting on the floor in front of these people, and it's very jarring, and it's not good.
Do they do that while the game is going?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They are projected along the floor of the game, basically. Let me see if I can find a screenshot to send to Katie.
Holy shit.
Isn't there back to the game, though, on the screen?
No.
Yes.
This reminds me of, like, when they used to, like, broadcast hockey in the States, like, on Fox, and they would have to, like, highlight the puck and put, like, a little shooting star thing on it whenever they'd move it around. That feels like that level of broadcast.
Well, it also reminds me of, I think, what people didn't realize about the horror of video calling, that people had this idea that, like, oh, video calling, it's going to be great, it's going to be the future, and then you realize you don't want to look at someone's disinterested face. Like, the value of the phone is that you could just be doing anything. The other person doesn't have to see your reactions. And so you just see how tired Brian Windhorst is getting. Like, really, even when the game's close, you're like, geez, this guy doesn't want to be here.
He's jet lagged. He's in Omaha time.
Yeah, he flew from Omaha to Portland. Well, I guess they're probably filming it in Los Angeles. Oh, God, what a...
I cannot... It's like we made this up, Sean. I cannot find a picture of this at all.
NBA courtside. It's so weird looking.
It's also difficult to Google.
Yeah, because you get all the celebs sitting courtside.
Yeah.
You get the Andersons talking about NBAtickets.com. They probably don't get that commercial, huh, Joey?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they have that.
No, we don't get American commercials either. We just get the same, and on our broadcast, they just play the same 4 commercials.
And they're all for the littlest hobo.
That's cute. They are all for this. It's all. How would you describe Osmos, Sean? I feel like that's like kind of the littlest hobos of food.
Yeah. Yeah, Osmos is this like shawarma place that started as just like a one location place in Mississauga, which is where Raptors 905 plays.
Okay.
And then it expanded, and now they're like all over the place. And now they have commercials with Norman Powell and Fred VanVleet. And for a while, there was like an online petition to boycott Osmos while they were struggling, but now it's off. It's good.
Oh, good.
Osmos curse. Yeah, now it's gone.
Yeah, it was a thing.
All right.
I heard a lot of people hit up Osmos the night that they won the series, the championship.
Apparently it was, the place to be.
All right, should we ask these real questions real quick?
Yeah,
Sean?
let's ask these real quick.
Yeah, let's get them out.
All right, who's your X factor for the Raptors in this series?
Katie?
Of the Raptors?
For the Raptors.
My players?
Yeah, who's
My
your
friend?
your
Guys.
players? Who's the X factor in this series if the Raptors are going to win for you, Katie?
I think who has to come back in a big way is Danny. Where'd he go?
Also, historic Warriors killer Danny Green.
Yeah, I really need to. I think he will. I still have some faith in him. I had prolonged faith in Fred that he would, and he did. He always does. But the thing with Danny is, I don't know him as well as I know Fred. I feel like so maybe he doesn't, but he needs to.
Greg Popovich would tell you that he doesn't all the time come back. I think.
I think he is probably injured, and they're not saying anything though.
Maybe.
I kind of do also.
I think on an injury level, it would be nice, but I don't want him to rush it because of his appendix. But it would be great if OG Anunoby could come back for any of these games.
I think he's supposed to be back like game 3 or 4.
Yeah, they said he's going to be back. Yeah,
I know, I saw that, but I'm still worried because he had a bad infection.
I am worried for his innards. Yeah, I don't want him to rush back.
I don't want him to rupture anything, you know?
But on the same level, I'm very happy if he returns because he's had such a shitty year.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him back.
I also hope that if something does go wrong with his appendix, it happens while they're in Canada, because you have no idea how terrible the healthcare system is in this country, guys.
That's why Patrick McCall left.
Yeah, he's just like, what's the copay on this? Covered California.
I like that mine. I don't know if Sean's are the same, but I like that my X factors are mostly just like, I hope he gets better. I hope he feels like himself again. Not like they need to do XYZ.
Who are yours, Woodley?
Mine's Pascal Siakam because he's been awesome against the Warriors in the past. And I think his first really big game came against the Warriors, like the start of last season.
Yeah, there was a game. There was a game against the Warriors where Ibaka and Jakob Poeltl essentially single-handedly beat them last year. Jakob Poeltl was draining threes. It was so weird.
But Siakam has spent the last 2 series being guarded by Joel Embiid and Giannis, and I feel bad for him because people are like, "Why can't Siakam score anymore?" And it's I don't know. Look at the monsters who are defending him, and I feel like the Warriors will probably stick Kevon.
No. Draymond Green is going to be on.
Green is going to guard
Pascal
him.
Siakam.
Oh yeah,
but he's not
going to guard.
Well,
Clay.
Here's the trick.
Iggy.
Here's the trick, though.
There's so many good players.
Here's the trick. Draymond is not going to guard Pascal Siakam. He's going to be on him, but he's going to be doing the thing they did to Al Farouk Aminu. It's going to be hey, feel free to take these shots. I'm going to be guarding everyone else.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Giannis and Joel Embiid did to him too.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not, if he can be better than he was against those guys, then that's great. If not, then the Raptors might be kind of screwed.
It's almost like he's in a bunch of boss fights where they've all leveled up.
First it was Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, Jonathan Isaac is what's the first guy in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Like Glass Jaw Joe or whatever. Sean Keane, who is your rookie? I mean, who is your X factor for the Warriors?
For the Warriors, I think it's Jordan Bell, because I think you Draymond is too good to be the X factor, I would say, even though I think his offensive performance really matters. But they're going to need Jordan Bell to play 15 decent minutes and not foul too much and dunk a couple times, I think.
See, you and I are on completely different wavelengths. I actually think the X factor is going to have to be DeMarcus Cousins.
Interesting.
Because the Warriors need to be able to rest Draymond and Steph and Clay and have only one of them playing, and someone on their bench has to score. And if that can be DeMarcus Cousins, I think the Warriors are in good shape.
Joey, do you want to tell people what those bench lineups were in the Portland series?
He would consistently sit everyone who could dribble. Steve Kerr would consistently sit everyone who could dribble and pass and shoot at the same time. So they were playing Kevon Looney, Jordan Bell, Jonas Jerebko, Alfonso McKinney, and Quinn Cook all at the same time for reasons that do not make any sense.
a lot of plays where Sean Livingston just got the ball with 4 seconds left on the shot clock and was like, well, I guess this
I
is
have to try and post up a big man now. It's
with
like
Boogie, it's much like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's almost like Steve Kerr thinks you have to make hockey substitutions at all times.
Well, especially in Canada, he's gonna be like, well,
they love this.
Here.
Let's give the fans something they understand. Line changes.
With Boogie, I'm almost. It's sort of like OG, where I'm happy that he's going to get to play in the finals after all the injuries he's had. But also,
I think
I'm kind of excited for him to play because I think the Raptors will kind of punk his ass.
No, he's my X factor because I remembered. I forgot he played for the Warriors today briefly, and then I saw a picture of him.
And he was wearing a
really
t-shirt
happy.
that said, he was wearing a hoodie that said legalize it.
Yeah. I mean, it looked amazing. And I was like, oh man, Boogie's the best. And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't want to beat that guy. He's one of my favorite guys, but we got to beat him.
I watched the doc.
I don't think he's going to move very well. And I think that will benefit the Raptors when he's playing.
Don't talk about him like that.
I don't think he has to move well, is the thing. Because I think all he has to do is set a screen for either Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry, and then what does your defense do?
Yeah, it's not so much the offense. I just feel like on defense he's going to get kind of
But
eaten.
That's why I think they're going to play him against the bench lineups, and it won't be that big a deal. He's basically just insurance for, guess what, you can't go small like the Bucks, like you did against the Bucks.
Right.
Because or else you have Boogie Cousins posting you up.
Right.
That would be my guess is the idea. But who knows? Steve Kerr is an insane person, so I don't know.
The other thing I think that might confuse Toronto, at least in the initial games, is dealing with a player who moves as slowly as Kevon Looney on offense.
That was actually going to be my secondary X factor, even though I fucking hate him.
You guys might not be that familiar with it, but Looney will occasionally catch a ball, like get a rebound under the basket and duck down and wait for like 2 or 3 different players to jump, then land.
But he's not doing it on purpose. He is an old Nintendo character that you have to charge up his jump for him to duck.
Toad from
yeah. Also, I've said it before, but I'll say it to the Raptors fans again. Get used to Warriors' sixth man, Kevon Looney. He is the player that looks like a Dracula and moves like a Frankenstein.
Gets a million offensive rebounds.
All right, who's gonna win, guys?
I'm picking the Warriors in 7 because the Raptors haven't really had any heartbreak yet this playoffs.
Well, the reverse jinx.
Yeah. They'd also pick Bucks in 7. So, but yeah, I think Warriors in 7. I think it's going long. I think the Raptors are really good.
I think it's Raps in 6.
Yeah. What I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? We're at this point. You know what I mean? Like, let yourself live. If not now, when?
Keen, what's your pick?
I think. Look, the Raptors are very good. They're a much better team than people realize. Like, this is a legit 62-win team that just rested guys a lot. I just can't pick against this Warriors team, I think. Just because they win a lot of games they have no business winning, and I think that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to pick them in 6.
I am also picking Warriors in 6, and it would be just like this fucking Warriors team to not win at home because they lose at home a lot this year for reasons that make zero sense. But
they also tend to win playoff series on the road too, like just depriving their fans of joy as much as possible.
It's very this Warriors team is very into depriving their fans of joy while winning at the same time.
So wouldn't that mean they have to win in 5 or 7? Because
yes, I guess that's true.
Sorry, so 7 Warriors in 7. My bad.
Oh, so you both jinxed it. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Sean, Keen, what would you like to plug? Right, we're done. Woodley, do you have any questions? We're at an hour 18. Do you have anything else?
No, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, I figured. That's why I'm trying to get us out of this.
I just have a couple. Yeah, the only other questions I had were dumb. I do think that Kawhi could bring cornrows back, though. Oh, Sean, I had one more question for you. You picked Warriors in 7. Do you think that's because Kawhi Leonard is scheduled to pick up his college diploma the morning of Game 7? Did that affect your pick?
I don't think the Raptors will allow that again. They won't supply the private plane ever again, or accompany the player with Larry Tannenbaum, the owner, ever again. So no, I think they've learned.
Okay, good. Okay. I'll plug. I have a column about the Warriors' strength and numbers slogan coming out tomorrow on Yardbarker, and then I'll have a one-on-one thing on the finals that should also be available Thursday morning, I think.
All right. Katie Heindel, what would you like to plug?
Oh, she just DM'd me. She said, "Oh no, my phone died. Please say goodbye for me and plug Basketball Feelings."
Okay, subscribe to Katie Heindel's amazing basketball newsletter. It's so good. It's called Basketball Feelings. Just type in to your search engine Basketball Feelings, Katie Heindel.
Yeah. And if you're thinking about subscribing or not subscribing, Katie's actually even better during the off season.
Yes.
Isn't she the best player vacation chronicler?
100%.
Yeah.
Also, while we're telling people to subscribe to newsletters, also there are 2 you should subscribe to. They're unsubscribe to all your other newsletters and just subscribe to Kelly Dwyer's and Katie Heindel's. That's all you need.
Yes.
Woodley.
Yeah.
You want to say goodbye to Locked On Raptors?
Yeah, Locked On Raptors, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. I wrote a thing that typically I wouldn't like kind of delve into like personal sappy stuff, but I wrote a personal sappy thing on the Raptors winning Game 6 at RaptorsHQ.com. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do that. And there'll be lots of stuff throughout the finals. So stay tuned to the podcast.
And then as for me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Frankie Muniz, where on 6/12/14 I tweeted, "Just cracked my phone screen, and I didn't even drop it. Bent down in skinny jeans. Kill me." Also, Roundball Rock is on Patreon at patreon.com/roundrockpod. Follow us on Twitter at roundrockpod. Email us at roundrockpod@gmail.com. And, should be a good finals. I'm excited. So for those listeners of Locked On Raptors, we here at Roundball Rock have a song every episode. And the reason that is because earlier this year, the very popular sports website run by the sports guy Bill Simmons called Grantland Jr. for Kids came out with a Luka Doncic parody song, and they went hyper viral. And we here at Roundball Rock are always shooting to go super viral. So Sean has been making a set of basketball parody songs for us. This week's song, Raptors fans, you're in luck. It's called Raptors. Serge Ibaka is the man from Mars. Fans of CBGB might enjoy it. That is hopefully playing under us right now. Trust the process. And,
trust the process.
Shut it down. Let's all hear what Draymond Green's gonna say to Drake, because it's gonna be mean. Toronto, Bismack Biyombo, Morris Peterson, Jason Capono, TJ Ford, Jose Calderon, and then Tyler Hansbrough. They're our favorite Raptors. Jakob Poeltl, Rafael Araujo, Gravis Vasquez, and Jamario, Joey Graham, Damon Stoudemire, and it's Daniel Marshall. 24 seasons of Raptors.
Masai Ujiri told me everybody's good. Hito Tukerlu ate too much food. Lowry's fast, Lowry's cool, this French is wrong. Sacre bleu, and you don't stop. Keon Clark, go out to Jurassic Park, and you buy a magazine, and you eat poutine, and you grab your purse, and you meet Nick Nurse, and he's wearing a vest. You meet Doug West, and out comes a man from the Congo. He's got attitude, and he makes gross food, and he serves you bread, and he eats your head. And then you're in Serge Ibaka, eating snakes and worm tacos. You eat bull penis, kidney stew, asking everyone, how hungry are you? And you don't stop. You keep on making people sick, and then when there's no more cow dick, you go out at night and beat the Bucks and Greek Freak. Get a bleeding head on a swollen cheek, not playing zone, just man-to-man, toe-to-toe with Antetokounmpo. Cause man from the Congo, connected for wins like Ray John Rongo, filling the lane, catching lobs, strong like Bang, get on the T-Dot train. Raptor, you're sweet. It's neat, you know, Fred Van Fleet. OKC Thunder made a blunder, replacing you with a man down under. Oh snap, scored on the tap. This is what happens when white people rap. Rappity-doo, rappity-dee. Thanks a lot, Debbie Harry.